Yeah, we can start now.
Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, so good morning, and we meet today on 24th November 2024, and we resume our reading of bilingual reading of Anubhavatmak Adhyatmavad, Realization-Centered Spiritualism, and we are following, when we talk about any page numbers, we are following the page numbers written in 2023 edition, Hindi edition of Anubhavatmak Adhyatmavad. Okay, so with this clarification, and let's continue. We'll continue from page 49, first paragraph of the original Hindi book. So let's go there. 1 moment. Okay. So in the previous session, if just to recap very briefly, what we were discussing was what Babaji has mentioned is there are two ways to realization. Okay. One is by exploration and the second is by study. And then Babaji has given some comparison about that. Okay, that what happens in the exploration of exploration method. And I think it is self-explanatory and the recording is already there. So those of you who missed that can look at that. And now we can continue from here. So as is our usual format, one of you can read the Hindi part and then the English part Spencer can read, and then we can have a discussion on that.
ठीक है भैया, I will read the Hindi part.
जी दीदी, प्लीज.
जीवन सहज जागृतिपूर्ण प्रक्रिया में देखा गया है कि सह अस्तित्व रूपी अस्तित्व में आत्मा ही अनुभूत होता है। फलस्वरूप आत्मा सहज मध्यस्थ क्रिया ही मध्यस्थ बल मध्यस्थ शक्ति के रूप में प्रभाव क्षेत्र का होना देखा गया है। इसी प्रभाव क्षेत्रवश अनुभव का बोध, बुद्धि में अनुभव का साक्षात्कार, चित्त में अनुभव का सार्थकता, तुलन रूपी वृत्ति में यानी कि न्याय धर्म सत्य और अनुभव का आस्वादन मूल्य रूप में मन में प्रभावित और स्वीकृत होता है। उसी क्षण से निष्ठा की निरंतरता पाई जाती है। निष्ठा का तात्पर्य अनुभव प्रभाव का निरंतरता में ही जीवन की सभी क्रियाएं अभिभूत रहने से है। अनुभव प्रभाव क्षेत्र स्वयं ही निरंतर होना पाया जाता है, क्योंकि अस्तित्व में अनुभव से अधिक कुछ शेष नहीं है। संपूर्ण अस्तित्व ही अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर मध्यस्थ क्रिया का प्रभाव क्षेत्र सदा सदा के लिए जीवन क्रिया रूपी समस्त परावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन क्रिया में संतुष्ट तृप्त समाधानित होना देखा गया है। यही जीवन अपेक्षा सहज सुख शांति संतोष आनंद से भी इंगित है। या स्पेंसर।
In the process of complete awakening, it has been seen that it is the Atma indeed which attains realization in existence. Consequently, the field of mediative activity of Atma itself has been seen to manifest as mediative strength and mediative power. It is only due to this field that enlightenment of realization in buddhi, direct perception of realization in chit, meaningfulness of realization in vritti in the form of deliberation, justice, dharma, truth, and tasting in the form of values of realization in man becomes effective and accepted. There is continuity of dedication from that very moment. Dedication means all activities of jivan remain ceaselessly influenced under the effect of realization. field of realization is ceaseless in itself, as there is nothing more in existence than realization. As the whole existence is realizable by Jivan, the field of mediative activity is seen to be contended, fulfilled, and resolved in activities of Jivan as all the activities of projection and reflection. Whole existence is realizable by Jivan, due to which the field of mediative activity, all manifestation and reflection in the form of activities of Jivan, is seen to be contended, fulfilled, and resolved. This itself is Jivan expectation and is also denoted by happiness, peace, contentment, and bliss.
Yeah, good. Thank you, both of you. One moment. Yeah. So there is one word which is coming here repeatedly, which is in Hindi, Prabhav Kshetra, okay, which we are saying in English as field. So, like the way I have so far sort of, guessed or estimated in this sense, I'm still in the process of understanding what is how to visualize this Prabhav Kshetra, okay, or the field. So the way I have looked at it is, we have like in our school days we studied electric field or magnetic field or gravitational field. Okay, so this is like this similarly realization also has a field. So magnet, if we see in the physical form, magnet is a small physical entity, but then its field is beyond its physical shape. Okay, that is why it can attract nails from some distance also. So similarly here, realization has an effect, okay, or it has a field. So in that sense, whenever we are reading line by line this thing, so प्रभाव क्षेत्र को field को इस sense में लेकर के we will just try to see what we can make out from this reading. So mostly it is the reinforcement of what we have already studied, but we'll just look at it line by line also. जीवन सहज जागृति पूर्ण प्रक्रिया में देखा गया है कि सह अस्तित्व रूपी अस्तित्व में आत्मा ही अनुभूत होता है. Okay, so in the process of complete awakening, Jagriti Poon Prakriya mein, in the process of complete awakening, it has been seen that it is the Atma indeed which attains realization in coexistence. Okay, so it has been seen. So who has seen it? So this is Babaji's style here, the author's style. ऐसा देखा गया है. The author himself has seen, because he has declared that he is the awakened person and he has seen it, that सह अस्तित्व रूपी अस्तित्व में आत्मा ही अनुभूत होता है. So he has seen that it is the Atma itself which attains realization in coexistence. फलस्वरूप आत्मा सहज मध्यस्थ क्रिया ही मध्यस्थ बल मध्यस्थ शक्ति के रूप में प्रभाव क्षेत्र का होना देखा गया है. Consequently, the field of mediative activity of Atma itself has been seen to manifest as mediative strength and mediative power. Okay, so ये जो मध्यस्थ बल है, मध्यस्थ क्रिया जो है, जिसको कि मध्यस्थ क्रिया को कहें mediative activity, okay, in Atma, this manifests or projects itself as mediative strength and mediative power. मध्यस्थ बल और मध्यस्थ शक्ति के रूप में प्रभाव क्षेत्र का होना देखा गया है. It has been seen to manifest as mediative strength and mediative power. इसी प्रभाव क्षेत्र वश, it is only due to this field itself, अनुभव का बोध बुद्धि में, it is only due to this field that enlightenment of realization in बुद्धि, अनुभव का साक्षात्कार चित्त में, अनुभव का सार्थकता तुलन रूपी वृत्ति में, और अनुभव का आस्वादन मन में प्रभावित और स्वीकृत होता है. Okay, so it is the Atma itself which gets realized in existence, and then due to this field, this enlightenment of realization, we see enlightenment of realization in buddhi, direct perception या साक्षात्कार of realization in chit, meaningfulness of realization in vritti in the form of deliberation, justice, dharma, and truth, and tasting in the form of values of realization in man becomes effective and accepted. ये प्रभावित होता है और स्वीकृत होता है. उसी क्षण से निष्ठा की निरंतरता पाई जाती है. There is continuity of dedication from that very moment. निष्ठा का तात्पर्य अनुभव प्रभाव का निरंतरता में ही जीवन की सभी क्रियाएं अभिभूत रहने से है. Dedication means all activities of Jivan remaining ceaselessly influenced under the effect of realization. Okay. So once a person is realized or Atma is realized, then Man, Vritti, Chit, and Buddhi have no way of, they are always continuously in the effect or influence of this realization. It is in delusion that one strays, okay, or one deviates, or one is unclear. अनुभव प्रभाव क्षेत्र स्वयं ही निरंतर होना पाया जाता है क्योंकि अस्तित्व में अनुभव से अधिक कुछ शेष नहीं है. Field of realization is ceaseless in itself as there is nothing more in existence than realization. Okay, so whatever is there in existence, that I have realized, that I have understood, so then it is continuous. There is no stopping. Okay, there are no gaps in between. Because whatever is there, I have understood that. All the gaps come when I have not completely understood the existence. संपूर्ण अस्तित्व ही अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर मध्यस्थ क्रिया का प्रभाव क्षेत्र सदा सदा के लिए जीवन क्रिया रूपी समस्त परावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन क्रिया में संतुष्ट, तृप्त, समाधानित होना देखा गया है. As the whole existence is realizable by Jivan, the field of mediative activity is seen to be contented, fulfilled, and resolved. Okay, इसको संतुष्ट, तृप्त और समाधानित, इसके लिए ये वर्ड्स यूज किए हैं. Is seen to be contented, fulfilled, and resolved in activities of Jivan as all the activities of projection and reflection. समस्त परावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन क्रिया में संतुष्ट, तृप्त, समाधानित होना देखा गया है. Okay, so all projection and reflection in the form of in activities of Jivan is seen to be contented, fulfilled, and resolved. Why it has come twice? Did I make a mistake? Moment. I think so. Now, this is one sentence, and I think it has come twice. Maybe I was trying with two combinations and then both of them stayed here. संपूर्ण अस्तित्व ही अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर मध्यस्थ क्रिया का प्रभाव क्षेत्र सदा सदा के लिए जीवन क्रिया रूपी समस्त प्रावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन क्रिया में संतुष्ट, तृप्त, समाधानित होना देखा गया. As the whole existence is realizable by Jivan, the field of mediative activity is seen to be contented, fulfilled, and resolved in activities of Jivan, as all activities of projection and reflection. The other try is whole existence is realizable by Jivan, due to which the field of mediative activity, all projection and reflection in the form of activities of Jivan, is seen to be contented, fulfilled, and resolved. Last sentence we will see and we'll come back to this. यही जीवन अपेक्षा सहज सुख शांति संतोष आनंद से भी इंगित है. This itself is जीवन expectation and is also denoted by happiness, peace, contentment, and bliss. Okay, so I have realized the existence, the contentment, the satisfaction it provides me. That satisfaction itself is Jivan expectation, and this is denoted by happiness, peace, contentment, and bliss. है ना, जीवन अपेक्षा को ही सुख शांति संतोष आनंद के नाम से बताया गया है. Now I need some help. Which one of these two, or maybe we need to improve it. We'll come to this. Before this, the previous part. Any comments, any observation?
It was very nice, Bhaiya, how you explained Prabhav Kshetra, na? So the field. So yeah, it was very nice to understand it that way. Yeah, very good.
You know, like what happens is when we are reading this text and someone explains to us, even then we are left with, something. I want to get a sense of what it really is. Okay, and then this is what we call the process of shodh. Okay, the process of thinking deeper, continuously thinking till we get some sense of it. Then also we are not sure whether whatever sense I have derived, whether that is correct or not, and then we keep on talking about it. Okay, so this is so far how I have looked at it. I'm not claiming it is the right sense. Okay, आप भी इसको, I encourage that you also think about it, and wherever you get an opportunity, get more clarity about it.
It's actually very interesting to think that in the physical sense, whatever the field is, it has a limitation. After one point, it stops. Like
Yeah.
magnetic field, electromagnetic, whatever you mentioned, like that, what we have understood, in our traditional education. So now we are talking of Atma, Jivan, which is eternal.
Yeah.
So, to imagine the field of that, and that is only one Jivan we are talking about, but how does it become eternal, the Kshetra?
Yes.
Like calls for
Yes.
a lot of contemplation.
Right. So although when we are looking at this paragraph, what we are seeing is that man vritti, chitta and buddhi, they are in this field of Atma. But practically, if I think beyond that, I think it is the field of Babaji's Jivan, the field of our other prabodhaks who have been, conducting shivers. So that field is impacting our Jivan also. प्रभाव क्षेत्र बाबा जी के जीवन का, सोम भैया के जीवन का, साधन भैया के जीवन का, है ना, like that field is influencing or affecting us also, and this is an ongoing process. Any other observations up to this point? Then I think we have some pending work in this part that will come to. But before, Itna Dev bhai, any observations here? Spencer, anything on the English part?
For me, it sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
Same. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I am also not very sure. I need your help. संपूर्ण अस्तित्व अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर. ओके, एज द होल एग्जिस्टेंस इज रियलाइजेबल बाय जीवन, संपूर्ण अस्तित्व अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर मध्यस्थ क्रिया का प्रभाव क्षेत्र सदा सदा के लिए जीवन क्रिया रूपी समस्त परावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन क्रिया में संतुष्ट तृप्त समाधानित होना देखा गया है. द फील्ड ऑफ मीडिएटिव एक्टिविटी इज सीन टू बी contented, fulfilled, and resolved in activities of Jivan as all activities of projection and reflection. And not a very smooth reading. Maybe not very smooth in Hindi also to some extent. The second thing is, second option, whole existence is realizable by Jivan due to which the field of mediative activity, all projection and reflection in the form of activities of Jivan is seen to be contented, fulfilled, and resolved. एक बार पहले हिंदी का मतलब देख लें क्या? संपूर्ण अस्तित्वी अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर, है ना. दिस इज क्लियर, एज द होल एग्जिस्टेंस इज रियलाइजेबल बाय जीवन. इतना तो ठीक लग रहा है. मध्यस्थ क्रिया का प्रभाव क्षेत्र, द फील्ड ऑफ मीडिएटिव एक्टिविटी, ये भी ठीक लग रहा है. मध्यस्थ क्रिया का प्रभाव क्षेत्र, द फील्ड ऑफ मीडिएटिव एक्टिविटी, सदा सदा के लिए जीवन क्रिया रूपी समस्त परावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन क्रिया में संतुष्ट तृप्त समाधानित होना देखा गया है. So due to this field of mediative activity, all activities in जीवन, ये सदा सदा के लिए जीवन क्रिया में मेरे को लग रहा है कि now we have to derive a sense from this sense that from this part that all the activities of जीवन in their projection and reflection, they are contented, fulfilled and resolved. ये सेंस ठीक लग रहा है. पहले हिंदी में इतना देख लें हम, then we'll see in English. संपूर्ण अस्तित्व अनुभवगम्य होने के आधार पर मध्यस्थ क्रिया का प्रभाव क्षेत्र में जीवन क्रिया, सारी जीवन क्रियाएं जो हैं वो परावर्तन, विच इंक्लूड्स परावर्तन एंड प्रत्यावर्तन, उनमें संतुष्ट तृप्त समाधानित होना देखा गया है. देव भाई, शिल्पा दीदी, हिंदी में.
एक्चुअली आई एम ट्राइंग टू राइट इट डाउन. वो थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग लग रहा है. लाइक मतलब द फर्स्ट सेक्शन, द फर्स्ट फ्रेज ना, एज द ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस इज रियलाइजेबल बाय जीवन, ये तो मेरे को ठीक लग रहा है. आई थिंक ऑफ अगर ऐड करें, एज द होल ऑफ एग्जिस्टेंस या होल एग्जिस्टेंस एज द होल.
लेकिन मैं कह रहा था कि ट्रांसलेशन से पहले एक बार हिंदी का सेंस बना लें हम कि कह क्या रहे हैं, देन वी विल सी वेदर दैट सेंस इज गेटिंग कवर्ड इन इंग्लिश और नॉट. सो संपूर्ण अस्तित्व अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर मध्यस्थ क्रिया के प्रभाव क्षेत्र में जीवन क्रिया, सारी जीवन क्रिया जो है उसमें समस्त परावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन में संतुष्ट तृप्त समाधानित होना देखा गया है या पाया जाता है.
नहीं नहीं समझ आ रहा है भैया. कौन किसको संतुष्ट तृप्त समाधानित?
जीवन की सब क्रियाएं. हाँ, जीवन की सब क्रियाएं ये हो रही हैं.
सो संपूर्ण अस्तित्व अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर एज द होल एग्जिस्टेंस इज रियलाइजेबल, ये बाय जीवन मैंने ऐड कर दिया है ना. अनुभव गम्य कौन होगा? जीवन में ही रियलाइजेशन होगा. सो एज द होल एग्जिस्टेंस इज रियलाइजेबल बाय जीवन. ओके, तो उसके कारण सारी जीवन क्रियाओं में परावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन में संतुष्टि तृप्ति समाधान देखा गया. हमेशा, सदा सदा. So as the whole existence is realizable by Jivan, the field of media activity is seen to be field of activity is not seen to be. आप शिल्पा दीदी क्या बता रहे थे? इफ यू आर वर्किंग ऑन समथिंग.
नहीं, अभी वाइल रीडिंग मतलब मेरे को लग रहा है द फील्ड ऑफ, जो आपने ऑल एक्टिविटीज लिखा है ना बाद में, द
हाँ
फील्ड
जी.
ऑफ ऑल मीडिएटिव एक्टिविटीज. एक मिनट, आई जस्ट राइट इट एक्चुअली, वन सेकेंड. या हम इसको कॉपी पेस्ट कर लें
हाँ,
सी.
कर लिया मैंने. किया है ये. दो वी कैन टॉय विद दिस, वी कैन प्ले
हाँ, द
विद दिस.
फील्ड ऑफ ऑल मीडिएटिव एक्टिविटीज इन जीवन are seen to be contented, fulfilled and resolved. अब ये तो हट जाएगा. As projection and reflection, I don't know. ये भी एक्टिविटीज फिर से हट जाएगा. फुलफिल्ड एंड रिजॉल्व्ड, ये इन एक्टिविटीज हट जाएगा. I don't know, in the process of projection and reflection, yeah.
Okay, let me try. How does it read? As the whole existence is realizable by Jivan, continuous contentment, fulfillment, and resolution is seen in all the activities of projection and reflection under the field of mediative activity. है ना? मध्यस्थ क्रिया के प्रभाव क्षेत्र में जितनी भी जीवन क्रियाएं हैं और वही परावर्तन प्रत्यावर्तन है, तो उसको रिपीट नहीं करेंगे. जीवन क्रिया भी दोबारा लिखे और प्रत्यावर्तन परावर्तन भी दोबारा लिखे. सो इन ऑल द एक्टिविटीज ऑफ प्रोजेक्शन एंड रिफ्लेक्शन अंडर द फील्ड ऑफ मीडिएटिव एक्टिविटी, continuous contentment, fulfillment, and resolution is seen in all the activities of projection and reflection under the field of mediative activity.
मुझे तो ठीक लग रहा है भैया ये.
देव भाई, स्पेंसर.
Yeah, I think the problem is I don't really even know what it is trying to say.
Yes,
What it-
but whatever is written here makes sense.
Kind of. I mean, the sentence, yes, it just I still I don't quite get what the meaning is.
Okay,
As
okay.
whole existence is realizable by Jivan, continuous
Yes.
contentment, fulfillment, and resolution is seen in all the activities of projection and reflection under the field. Like the sentence is, I would say, you came to a good one. Like it's good the way you wrote it.
Mhm.
One thing we are so I think it when we say as the whole existence, it seems like it's a sequence. It's an order. It's like happening uh, as and when it happens,
No, no,
then
no,
this
no, no,
happens.
no, no.
So
If no, no, one moment, let me clarify.
yeah,
If it was instead of realizable, if it was realized, okay, then what you are saying is correct. If, for example, if it was written as the whole existence is realized by Jivan, then it is a process. Okay, here it is as the whole existence is realizable by Jivan. Okay, हिंदी structure is संपूर्ण अस्तित्व ही अनुभव गम्य होने के आधार पर, है ना? So it
right.
is
So it's like a fact,
yes,
right?
it
So
is realizable. Whether we are in that state or not is a separate issue, but it is realizable.
right. So what I'm saying is, instead of, because this word as is
Hmm.
is making it sound like an sequence or order. So what
Yes,
I'm trying
okay.
trying to say here is, if we maybe do uh, something like on the basis of the fact that the
Yes, yes,
Or
yes.
say since the whole existence is
or
realizable
Hmm.
since
by
or
Shiva.
simple word since.
Yeah, even I was gonna
Since,
say
since, yeah, yeah.
since
Yeah, I meant since actually.
Yeah,
So although he wrote as, yes,
right. And also so this will probably I don't know,
yes,
if it changes, it will
yes,
have, and a
yes,
lot of things
yes.
will need to be changed.
Okay,
So
good,
I'm
good.
actually uh, not so sure about this word field. So okay, I'm just trying to compare it something like my field versus my field of uh, influence.
Yes.
I think there is a difference. My field means my, like the place where I am, wherein
Hmm.
my field of influence is I don't need to be there, but then I have a reach there.
Okay.
You understand, like in Hindi we are using prabhav kshetra, but in English we
Hmm.
are using only field, not
Hmm.
field of influence.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
as for my understanding, that is making a difference. I think there is a difference between prabhav kshetra or and kshetra, or influence, field of influence versus field.
Hmm. Okay.
I know what you mean by like when we have like in general conversation here, typically we use effective field. Like there's a field and it has an effect. That's how we use in our general conversation.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. So then what would we, what change you would like to make here? If any suggestions?
Uh, Either, I mean, as Spencer Bhai is saying, effective field or field of influence.
Here?
Uh, I mean, for that matter, everywhere, wherever we are using the word field.
No, wherever we, let us see. मध्यस्थ क्रिया के रूप में प्रभाव क्षेत्र का होना देखें called the
Yeah.
field of mediative activity of Atma. So here we are saying the field, the effective field of mediative activity of Atma. This is what we are trying to say.
और
Yes.
influential field होगा या effective होगा, I don't know, because
Or
influence या प्रभाव is influence, I think.
Okay. So then it would need to be like field of influence. Influential will be like, थोड़ा सा मतलब,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It has a little negative connotation.
The field
Mm-hmm.
of the influence of field of.
So I think otherwise, when I look here, at other places, the field fits well in this sentence. Okay, actually, the field itself is field of influence. When you look at magnetic field or gravitational field, or even the field of Jivan, Okay, the range of that field is its field of influence. Yes or no?
I understand what Divba is saying. And I mean, when you're trying to understand the concept, then I think to understand the field of influence, the affective field, how there's a area which is affected, it
Mhm.
makes sense. And then when you want to write, like my opinion is when you want to write it, I think if you understand the meaning of field, then it could be condensed into just one word of
Yes,
field.
field.
Yeah.
When
Yes,
you understand the
yes,
Yes.
concept, the most important is understanding the
yes,
concept. But
yes,
to include field of influence or affective field does help to understand, but ultimately I think it can be condensed into the
yes.
word of
So my suggestion is, because
Maybe,
we are uniformly using प्रभाव क्षेत्र के लिए field, so we'll continue at other places field, but then we take this flexibility or liberty at concept at particularly in some context we need to be flexible with word or with a phrase. We can do that. So in this particular one, I think that yes, we need some modification. I would rather do it only here in this line, in this sentence, instead of all over.
maybe, Bhaiya, we can use in braces like at in one place, which will be like you know, then of course we don't need to. Once it's discussed already, then
Hmm.
we will not need to really use it.
Mhm.
Uh, you know what I mean? Like the field, and then in braces brackets of influence, and then let it be.
Okay.
Just in
Okay.
just one place, so that it is discussed and then uh, taken like that.
Like this.
Something like this. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know,
Okay.
while reading, I think it is better to read the influence of the field of mediative activity of Atma. Influence. What if we do influence of in bracket before the field?
The field of influence of mediative activity or the influence of field of mediative activity.
मतलब instead of this, if we put it before, influence of in brackets and then field of mediative activity.
Um, so Didi, I think is subject changes when you say influence of field. The influence word becomes the subject, and when we say like this, the field is the subject. So, as per my understanding, the subject is the field.
Okay, yeah, that's valid.
Okay, good. So at one place we keep it like this, and then here now how does this sentence sound? Is this final shape, or do we need to still tinker something here?
I think it's fine. Yeah.
seems fine.
Okay, okay, good. Thank you. Thanks everyone. This was very tricky. Yes, let's go to the next. What we can do is we can read these two Hindi parts together, and then देवभाई आप पढ़ेंगे?
Sure. हाँ जी. Okay. जीवन जागृति
One
सहज.
moment, I'll shift it to the next page. Yeah, yeah.
जीवन जागृति सहज महिमा ही है, मानव अपेक्षाओं को परंपरा में साक्षित कर देना है. परंपरा में साक्षित करने का एक ही उपाय है, व्यवहार. मानव परंपरा में व्यवहार प्रमाण को प्रस्तुत करते समय शरीर का होना सअस्तित्व सहज व्यवस्था है. इसलिए जागृत जीवन परंपरा में ही अथवा जागृत पूर्ण परंपरा में ही हर परिवार मानव समाधान समृद्धि हर परिवार मानव समाधान समृद्धि अभय सअस्तित्व को साक्षित कर देता है, सत्यापित कर पाता है. हर व्यवहार में ऐसा सत्यापन मूल्यांकित होता है. इन तथ्यों के आधार पर जागृतिपूर्ण मानव परंपरा की आवश्यकता, उसकी संभावना और इन दोनों का संयोग विधि समीचीन है। ऊपर कहे गए तथ्यों, विश्लेषणों, संप्रेषणा के अनुसार यह सुस्पष्ट है कि मानव कुल का शरण और रक्षा अनुभव मूलक परंपरा पर ही आधारित है। इसमें और चूकने की स्थिति में मानव का इस धरती पर होने के मुद्दे पर ही प्रश्न चिन्ह लग चुका है।
Yeah, Spencer.
It is the magnificence of awakening of Jivan which produces the evidence of fulfillment of human expectations in tradition. There is only one way to achieve this: behavior. While producing evidence of behavior in human tradition, availability of the human body is provisioned in coexistence. Thus, it is in the awakened tradition only that every family person produces evidence of resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence, and is able to truthfully declare so. Such declaration is verifiable in all behavior. Based on these facts, the need and possibility of awakened human tradition exists, and confluence of both need and possibility also exists in existence. Based on the above mentioned facts, analysis, and communication, it is clear that the refuge and protection of humankind lies solely in the realization-rooted tradition. In case of any more negligence in this, it is doubtful if the humans will survive on this planet.
Mostly straightforward, but as is our practice, we'll look at it line by line. So here, normally, evidence word in English we are using for प्रमाणित, लेकिन यहाँ पर word हिंदी में साक्षित आया है. So when I was reading it, to me it looked like maybe it means प्रमाणित only. So I have used in English evidence word for this. So please pay attention to this when we are looking at the translation. If there are any suggestions, we'll incorporate them. जीवन जागृति सहज महिमा ही है, मानवापेक्षाओं को परंपरा में साक्षित कर देता है. साक्षित कर देता है मतलब प्रमाणित कर देता है. तो और यहाँ पर भी मतलब ये जिसके कारण, तो ये जीवन जागृति सहज महिमा ही है जिसके कारण मानवापेक्षाएं जो है वो परंपरा में साक्षित होती हैं या प्रमाणित होती हैं. इसको कह रहे हैं इट इज द मैग्निफिसेंस ऑफ अवेकनिंग ऑफ जीवन which produces the evidence of fulfillment of human expectations in tradition. परंपरा में साक्षित करने का एक ही उपाय है व्यवहार. देयर इज ओनली वन वे टू अचीव दिस बिहेवियर. मानव परंपरा में व्यवहार प्रमाण को प्रस्तुत करते समय शरीर का होना सह अस्तित्व सहज व्यवस्था है. ओके, तो प्रमाणित करने के लिए शरीर चाहिए, एंड ये वाला व्यवस्था जो है, ये वाला प्रोविजन जो है, ये एग्जिस्ट करता है एग्जिस्टेंस में. सो while producing evidence of behavior in human tradition, availability of the human body is provisioned in coexistence. So while आएगा या suddenly I am thinking maybe for is better. For producing evidence of behavior in human tradition, availability of the human body is provisioned in coexistence. मतलब हिंदी में आया करते समय शरीर का होना सह अस्तित्व सहज व्यवस्था है.
Bhaiya, I'm just thinking loud that should we use availability or like can we do without it? So, for producing evidence of behavior in human tradition, the human body is provisioned for in coexistence. Provisioned for.
This is okay. फॉर को मना कर रहा है गूगल.
नहीं, वो दोनों लिखे होते इसलिए मना कर रहे.
हाँ, तो सिर्फ प्रोविजन फॉर कर दें, इन हटा दें क्या? नहीं, प्रोविजन लाइक अस्तित्व में शरीर की
में.
व्यवस्था.
Yeah, in is better, I think.
In is better. Now, should we begin with while or for? For producing evidence of behavior in human tradition, yeah, body is provisioned in existence, yeah, for producing evidence of behavior in human tradition, human body is provisioned.
I think for ना, because for
मेरे
ही
को भी
है,
फॉर है,
like,
मेरे को भी पहले मैंने वाइल लिखा था,
हाँ।
अभी फॉर ठीक लग रहा है। देव भाई
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, I think 4 is good.
जी, ठीक है। इसीलिए जागृत जीवन परंपरा में ही अथवा जागृति पूर्ण परंपरा में ही हर परिवार मानव समाधान, समृद्धि, अभय, सह अस्तित्व को साक्षित कर देता है, मतलब अगेन प्रमाणित कर देता है और सत्यापित कर पाता है। Thus, it is in the awakened tradition only that every family person produces evidence of resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence, and is able to truthfully declare so. है ना, उसको प्रमाणित भी कर देता है एंड साइड बाय साइड एडिशनली सत्यापित भी कर देता है. So it is they are able to produce evidence also, and as well, and additionally they are able to truthfully declare so also. हर व्यवहार में ऐसा सत्यापन मूल्यांकित होता है. Such declaration is verifiable in all behavior. इन तथ्यों के आधार पर जागृतिपूर्ण मानव परंपरा की आवश्यकता और उसकी संभावना, है ना, ये दो चीजें कह रहे हैं. जागृतिपूर्ण मानव परंपरा की आवश्यकता भी है और इसकी संभावना भी है. तो एवरी टाइम मैंने लुक एट इट कि जब बाबा जी परंपरा की बात करते हैं, मैं शुरू में इन इन द इनिशियल स्टेजेस आई लुक एट इट द फैमिली इटसेल्फ, दैट इट्स नीडेड इन द फैमिली आल्सो, एंड नॉट ओनली इट इज नीडेड, देयर इज इट्स पॉसिबिलिटी आल्सो, उसकी संभावना भी है ना, एज लॉन्ग एज वी नो द मेथड, उसका अप्रोच कैसे करना है, एज लॉन्ग एज वी नो दैट, ओके, सो उसकी पॉसिबिलिटी जो है वो वी कैन मटेरियलाइज इट आल्सो. सो द नीड एज वेल एज पॉसिबिलिटी, और इन दोनों का संयोग विधि समीचीन है. ओके, तो समीचीन है मतलब इट्स नथिंग मिस्टीरियस, इट आल्सो एग्जिस्ट्स इन एग्जिस्टेंस. So that is why Babaji is saying everything is there in existence. So the way to awakening is also there in existence. That is why repeatedly in the previous paragraphs also we are seeing there is so much importance in understanding of the existence. When we understand the existence, then what we have to do with ourselves, what we have to do in the family, what we have to do in society, what we have to do in nature, that also becomes clear to us. And how that will be achieved, that also becomes clear. Okay, so ये सब समीचीन है. It is not difficult. It is not far off. Okay, it is in existence only, and we are in existence. So existence में ही available है. We just have to figure it out. तो इसको कह रहे हैं based on these facts, the need and possibility of awakened human tradition. हम अपने में कहें तो awakened human family is the starting point. Probably exists. The need and possibility, they exist, and confluence of both, किस क्या, both need and possibility also exists in existence. जी शिल्पा दीदी.
Bhaiya, I was just saying that while reading, like, the possibility of awakened human tradition exists, फिर comma, and the confluence of both.
जी ठीक है, yes, that is fine, good, ठीक है. एंड नेक्स्ट
I
वाला भी
think
देख लेते. या
I think
जी
she's
भैया
saying,
जी.
she Shilpa Didi, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you saying that we should close at both?
Sorry भैया, क्या कह रहे हैं आप?
यहाँ पर
Yeah.
ना, बोथ को
No, no.
क्वालिफाई कर दिया, नीड एंड
I,
पॉसिबिलिटी,
I
देन
thought
अगेन
you
एक कॉमा.
I thought you were saying we should close at both, like both and full stop. और maybe you just आपने वो इधर से इधर कर दिया, वो भी ठीक है. नहीं.
Let me read it again.
मतलब
Based on this,
you can do without the brackets वाला, and the confluence of both also exist in existence.
when I was writing it, when I did not write both, then, like it took me an extra second to figure out what is this both. Okay, so I thought that maybe it will make it easier for the reader.
That is true. It makes it easier.
ह्यूमन ट्रेडिशन एग्जिस्ट्स आएगा कि एग्जिस्ट आएगा?
ऐसे ही आएगा भैया, एग्जिस्ट।
टू थिंग्स ना?
इट्स
Hmm. Hmm. Single exist भी ठीक है. I think that is better. ठीक है. एक बार अगला भी देख लेते हैं. ऊपर कहे गए तथ्यों, विश्लेषणों, संप्रेषणा के अनुसार यह सुस्पष्ट है कि मानव कुल का शरण और रक्षा अनुभव मूलक परंपरा पर ही आधारित है. Based on the above mentioned facts, analysis, and communication, it is clear that the refuge and protection of humankind lies solely in the realization rooted tradition. इसमें और चूकने की स्थिति में मानव का इस धरती पर होने के मुद्दे पर ही प्रश्न चिन्ह लग चुका है. In case of any more negligence in this, it is doubtful if the humans will survive on this planet.
तो भैया, कैन यू जस्ट recap like what are the above mentioned facts? Like, can we just recap all that for our understanding?
हाँ, ये जितना ये जीवन के बारे में बता रहे हैं ना. ओके. तो basically I think what Babaji has one narrative which throughout the Madhyas Darshan is built is that the main delusion is when humans consider themselves only as body. Okay? शरीर मूलक परंपरा है अभी हमारी. हम शरीर के बेसिस आधार पर ही जी रहे हैं. राइट. So we humans are also in existence, and हमने बाकी सब कुछ समझा है. We have tried to understand everything else. We have not understood ourselves. So when we understand ourselves as combined form of body and Jivan, okay, then this Jivan part is what Babaji has described in the previous paragraphs. ओके. तो रियलाइजेशन में भी मैं क्या हूं, हु एम आई, इसका रियलाइजेशन इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द रियलाइजेशन. ठीक है. लाइक इफ वी आर नॉट क्लियर अबाउट दिस, देन वी आर डिल्यूडेड ट्रेडिशन. Okay. Otherwise, with this clarity, so Astitva Darshan Gyan, the knowledge of coexistence, the knowledge of Jivan, and the knowledge of ह्यूमेन कंडक्ट. ओके. ये इन तीनों का नॉलेज होने के बाद में जो है वो अनुभव संपन्नता तक पहुंचेंगे, रियलाइजेशन होगा. तो रियलाइजेशन रूटेड ट्रेडिशन में ही मानव के सरवाइव करने का स्कोप है. उसके बिना, I mean, because that clarity is not there so far, that is why, if you remember all our discussions in Janavad, which Babaji has given all the examples, and here also Babaji at various points he is saying, which we otherwise also keep on hearing, that we are on a path to disaster. Okay. Whether the humankind or this earth will survive in the next 100 years or not. Okay, global warming, pollution, resource depletion, due to all these reasons. So the whole refuge is in realization. उससे कम में काम चलने वाला नहीं. तो ये उक्त तथ्य मतलब ये जितना जनरल सारी की सारी बात कर रहे हैं, उसके हिसाब से मानव कुल का शरण और रक्षा अनुभव मूलक परंपरा पर ही आधारित है. एंड बाबा जी इस चीज को सत्यापित कर रहे हैं. he is declaring it truthfully that I have realized it, okay, and I am able to communicate it to you also which we also sense that, yes, it is getting communicated to us. We are getting that clarity. We have not reached the point of realization, but we can accept that whatever is being said is correct, and it needs to be accepted.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Spencer, Devbhai, anything?
No, I don't have anything to add. Just yeah, I guess it's just going over the importance of
Yes.
realization or experience-based life as opposed to body senses based,
Correct.
and that's
So
very important.
actually, my Jeevan's realization is that we have been spending a lot of time, since the last 3, 4 sessions. It's getting a little complicated, I guess. um, I remember initial few pages, we thought that it was pretty okay, straightforward, and we already knew all these things. But then now we are. I mean, we need to spend a lot of time actually to
Yes.
get
Yes.
through.
Yes. Yes. So I think it is recommended, and I found it useful that, as a first step, what we need to do is read all the books. Okay. If we do not read books, actually, then we think we sort of, our conclusions of Madhyas Darshan are what the Prabodhak is telling us.
Yeah,
Okay, and the
true.
reason why Babaji has written books is that he found it important to write the books so that every future student will at least have this possibility of reading what the awakened person himself wrote.
Right. That Manan Chintan that happens actually
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so at the first step, we need to read all the books. That is why sometimes I feel that we are going a bit slow. If we read one book per year, then if it is only the first step, then we are talking about some 10-15 years in just reading the first round of the books. Okay, and the first round of books is not the not will not provide us the understanding. It is the subsequent readings and subsequent discussions. Okay, so
Yeah.
but in any case, that first step has to be done, and we have to fit in in our daily schedules. So that is fine. Okay,
जी.
Shilpa Didi.
जी। अनुभव मूलक परंपरा ही न्याय, धर्म, अखंड सामाजिकता, संपूर्ण प्रणाली, पद्धति, नीति सहित विधि से सार्वभौम व्यवस्था में भागीदारी होना स्वाभाविक है। मानव कुल में यह तीनों स्रोत अर्थात न्याय, धर्म, सत्य अक्षुण्ण रूप में मध्यस्थ नित्य वैभव होना देखा गया है। अस्तित्व अक्षुण्ण रूप में मध्यस्थ विधि से ही कार्यरत है। इसीलिए अस्तित्व में अनुभव सहज फलन ही है। मध्यस्थ क्रिया, मध्यस्थ बल, मध्यस्थ शक्तियों का प्रभावित होना। मूलतः मध्यस्थ प्रभाव क्या है? इसका उत्तर अस्तित्व में यही है, सम विषमात्मक अतिरेकों को सामान्य बनाए रखने में नियोजित बल और शक्ति। बल और शक्ति अविभाज्य है। ऐसी बल और शक्ति क्रिया का ही स्वरूप होना देखा गया है। या स्पेंसर।
It is only in the realization-rooted tradition that participation in the universal system happens naturally by way of process, procedure, and policy based on justice, dharma, and truth. In humankind, all these three sources, justice, dharma, and truth, have been seen as the ceaseless, eternal grandeur of the mediative. Existence is ceaselessly functional only by way of the mediative. Thus, realization in existence naturally leads to mediative activity, mediative strength, and mediative power becoming effective. So what really is the mediative effect? Its answer is strength and power for normalizing the generative and degenerative excesses in existence. Strength and power are inseparable. It has been seen that such strength and power are in reality the activity itself.
Good, thank you. अनुभव मूलक परंपरा ही न्याय, धर्म, सत्यपूर्ण प्रणाली, पद्धति, नीति सहित विधि से सार्वभौम व्यवस्था में भागीदारी होना स्वाभाविक है। तो अगेन हिंदी सेंटेंस में थोड़ा सा कुछ एक आध वर्ड ऐसा लगता है कि लाइक so the sense which I derive is it is only in the realization rooted tradition that participation in the universal system happens naturally by way of process, procedure and policy based on justice, dharma and truth. है ना? अनुभव मूलक परंपरा में ही मतलब में शब्द यहाँ पर ऐसा लगता है कि होना चाहिए. It is only in the realization rooted tradition that participation in the universal system happens not naturally by way of process, procedure, and policy based on. जी शिल्पा दीदी.
I'm just wondering, भैया, that it should it be processes, procedures, and policy?
मैं भी यही सोच रहा था. That is why I was a little slow in speaking. मुझे भी यही लग रहा था कि we'll just make it plural by way of processes, procedures, and policies based on justice, dharma, and truth. मानव कुल में यह तीनों स्रोत अर्थात न्याय, धर्म, सत्य अक्षुण्ण रूप में मध्यस्थ नित्य वैभव होना देखा गया है. In humankind, all these three sources, e.g., justice, dharma, and truth, have been seen as the ceaseless, eternal grandeur of the mediative. अस्तित्व अक्षुण्ण रूप में मध्यस्थ विधि से ही कार्यरत है. Existence is ceaselessly functional only by way of the mediative. इसीलिए अस्तित्व में अनुभव सहज फलन ही है मध्यस्थ क्रिया, मध्यस्थ बल, मध्यस्थ शक्तियों का प्रभावित होना. Thus, realization in existence है ना, अस्तित्व में अनुभव, इसीलिए अस्तित्व में अनुभव सहज फलन मतलब अस्तित्व में अनुभव का फलन ही है मध्यस्थ क्रिया, मध्यस्थ बल, मध्यस्थ शक्तियों का प्रभावित होना. तो एक व्यक्ति जो है उसमें उसका जो एक्टिविटीज है मध्यस्थ बल, मध्यस्थ शक्तियां, वो प्रभावित अस्तित्व में अनुभव के बाद में. So thus realization in existence naturally leads to mediative activity, mediative strength and mediative power becoming effective. मूलतः मध्यस्थ प्रभाव क्या है? So what really is the mediative effect? इसका उत्तर अस्तित्व में यही है. सम विषमात्मक अतिरेकों को सामान्य बनाए रखने में नियोजित बल और शक्ति है ना. तो सम विषम के लिए वी आर यूजिंग द वर्ड जनरेटिव, डिजेनरेटिव. सो इसका उत्तर ये है. इट्स आंसर इज स्ट्रेंथ एंड पावर फॉर नॉर्मलाइजिंग द जनरेटिव एंड डिजेनरेटिव एक्सेसेस इन एग्जिस्टेंस. अतिरेक मतलब एक्सेस है ना, किसी चीज का ज्यादा हो जाना. सम विषम अतिरेक मतलब एक्सेसेस इन जनरेटिव एंड डिजेनरेटिव प्रोसेसेस. बल और शक्ति अविभाज्य है. स्ट्रेंथ एंड पावर आर इनसेपरेबल. ऐसे बल और शक्ति क्रिया का ही स्वरूप होना देखा गया है. इट हैज बीन सीन दैट सच स्ट्रेंथ एंड पावर आर इन रियलिटी द एक्टिविटी इटसेल्फ. तो यहां पर ये शक्ति जो है, इसके बाद में मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि कॉमा लगाने से सेंटेंस बनेगा. ऐसी बल और शक्ति क्रिया का ही स्वरूप होना देखा गया है. तो क्रिया क्या है? बल और शक्ति ही क्रिया है. सो it has been seen that such strength and power are in reality the activity itself. Maybe the silence tells me that trying to figure out.
Trying to
Uh,
figure it
I
out,
have
yeah.
two quick things. Second
Yeah.
para,
Yeah.
in humankind.
Hmm.
Maybe if we can do in humankind, these three sources, remove all,
Okay. Okay.
and yeah, and I think it should be IE rather than
It should be
EG.
I. It should be IE. Yes, it should be IE. You're right. G.
All right, and last
Hmm.
is this third paragraph. Uh, what really is the meditative effect? I think,
Mediative.
sorry, mediative effect. Uh, its answer is की जगह पे the answer is.
Hmm. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. I
भैया
think
जो लास्ट
yes.
सेंटेंस है, it has been seen that
Hmm.
such strength की जगह that this strength and power, I don't if that is better,
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
strength and power.
I'm okay with that.
Right, right.
Good. Okay. So here, like I think Babaji is making a narrative, and yes, some Visham Madhyasth ki baat aayi hai. This continues to the next paragraph also. Maybe we will, when we read it in continuity, it will become more clear. तो इसको भी पढ़ लेते हैं. Hmm.
Should I?
जी please.
सम और विषम का नियंत्रण अथवा अतिरेकों का नियंत्रण परमाणु में निहित नाभिकीय अंश का वैभव होना स्पष्ट है। हर परमाणु में परिवेशीय अंशों का निश्चित दूरी से अधिक या कम होना ही सम विषम है संज्ञा है। यह सदा सदा नाभिकीय बल और शक्ति के प्रयोग विधि से संतुलित रहना दिखाई पड़ता है, समझ में आता है। यह संतुलन परमाणु गठन रूपी इकाई पर होने वाला प्रभाव है। यही मध्यस्थ क्रिया, मध्यस्थ बल और मध्यस्थ शक्ति का परिचय और प्रमाण है। क्योंकि हर परमाणु संतुलित संतुलित होने की स्थिति में ही स्वभाव गति के रूप में वर्तमान होना, फलस्वरूप उपयोगिता पूरकता विधि से परस्परता में विकास, उदात्तीकरण, रासायनिक उर्मी और रचना विरचनाएं स्पष्ट हुई हैं। हर विरचना भी पूरकता क्रम में ही होना और पुनर्रचना के लिए पूरक होना देखा गया है। यह प्राण अवस्था में बीजानुसंगीय विधि से स्पष्ट है।
The regulation of generation and degeneration, or the regulation of their excesses, is clearly the grandeur of the central particle of the atom. Increase or decrease in the precise distance of orbital particles in an atom is referred to as generation or degeneration. It is seen or understood that it always remains in equilibrium by the application of the strength and power of the nucleus. This equilibrium is the effect on the entity which is constituted as an atom. This is indeed the first clue to and evidence of the mediative activity, mediative strength, and mediative power. It is only in a state of equilibrium that every atom is present in its natural motion, leading to mutual development, evolution, chemical ripple, and compositions and decompositions by way of usefulness and complementariness. All this became clear. It has been seen that all decompositions are also in the chain of complementariness and are useful for future compositions. In the plant order, this is obvious in the form of seed conformance.
Good. So gradually Babaji is elaborating here. सम और विषम का नियंत्रण अथवा अतिरेकों का नियंत्रण परमाणु में निहित नाभिकीय अंश का वैभव होना स्पष्ट है. तो नाभिकीय अंश जो है वो न्यूक्लियस या सेंट्रल पार्टिकल की जो है वो बात कर रहे हैं. So the regulation of generation and degeneration or the regulation of their excesses, है ना. तो सम और विषम का नियंत्रण या इनके अतिरेकों का नियंत्रण, है ना. ये दोनों अलग अलग चीजें हैं, which is, well, I found it very interesting when Babaji explained like this. सम और विषम का नियंत्रण ये भी एक चाहिए और इनके अतिरेकों का नियंत्रण भी चाहिए.
ये थोड़ा सा
एक्सप्लेन कर.
नहीं, मतलब मुझे थोड़ा सा डिबेटेबल लग रहा है, क्योंकि if we are talking about regulation of generation and degeneration, then why would there be excesses of which needs to be regulated further?
So practically, if we see in existence, there are times when we see, excesses or sometimes I will say extreme circumstances. Okay, I mean, it can be due to climatic conditions, it can be due to natural disasters, it could be due to delusion. Okay, so that where there is a deviation from the mediative. So one is in the mediative itself, there is generation and degeneration. Some or visham chalta rehta. For example, in a human tradition, births also happen and deaths also happen. Okay, so we, or in agriculture, we are always sort of, putting in seeds as well as we are, taking out the crops or the fruits also. Okay, so we are producing something, we are consuming something. So both of them we can look at, सम और विषम वाला जो है वो, तो उसमें एक मध्यस्थ चलता रहता है. But there are sometimes where in this band of, in this range of madhyasth, we sort of, go out of band. Okay? या सम ज्यादा हो जाता है या विषम ज्यादा हो जाता है. Okay, so those excesses or extremities are also brought into equilibrium by mediative. This is what Babaji is saying. I found it intuitively okay. I did not ask this question to myself, why does it happen? But it happens. That is very clearly obvious.
No, yeah, I understand it happens, but only thing is, if it happens also, that also needs to be, again, of course I need to think about it, but as of now I think that even if it happens, that also is like a part of existence only. It should not probably be called as access.
No, this is where I think human actions come into picture. For example, till 100 years ago or 500 years ago, let's say we did not have medical diagnostics or medical treatments as advanced as they are today. Okay. Now, one approach is to consider it as part of existence. Leave it as it is.
Right.
Okay, but then human actions have provided us in over the last many decades or couple of centuries, or in historically also, even gradually these efforts have been made to safeguard human health, physical health.
Right. So one simple example can be like, the disease of cancer,
Yeah. What? Yes.
right? Regulated, of course. I mean, obviously cells die and then come back,
Hmm. Hmm.
new are produced, but then excess happens and that causes cancer,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So that I understand.
Hmm.
ठीक है भैया मैं
Yeah, थोड़ा
I'll,
और
I'll,
सोचेंगे.
हाँ जी,
Yeah,
I'll
need to, yes.
think about it.
Yes, Shilpa, you want to say something?
No, I was just saying that this is one of those sentences. I mean, वैसे तो बाबा जी के every sentence has so much meaning.
Yes.
In this
Yes.
one sentence, there is so much
Yes.
to think about. Like
Yes.
as you put it
Yes.
also very well, that like, we know there is life and death. We accept
Yes.
it also. But
Yes.
then when the death happens of a young person or a very violent death, or like floods come or calamities come, we are
Hmm.
unable to comprehend what is happening.
Hmm.
So to
Hmm.
understand that this is the grandeur of the central particle of the atom,
Hmm.
as mentioned in this, like it calls for a lot of shows. I mean, this is what we are doing now always.
Hmm.
Like we
Hmm.
understand fundamentally there
Hmm.
is generation, degeneration, but when the excess happens, how to
Hmm.
understand that is why I
Hmm.
think like I am
Hmm.
also here
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah. For example, what we saw in COVID, coronavirus, 3, 4 years, that also was some kind of an excess. Okay, that was not the normal range of what I should say. I don't have a word, but that was not normal living. Okay, so there was some kind of an excess. So it is the madhyasth which brings it back to the normal range. Okay, so deaths and births will keep on happening. They keep on happening. It is acceptable to us. Then what Babaji is highlighting is there are occasions, there are circumstances, there are times when when there are some excesses. Okay, so then eventually they also come back to the normal band. Only this much is being said. ठीक है.
जी.
So, सम और विषम का नियंत्रण तथा अतिरेकों का नियंत्रण, the regulation of generation and degeneration or the regulation of their excesses is clearly the grandeur of the central particle of the atom. हर परमाणु में परिवेशीय अंशों का निश्चित दूरी से अधिक या कम होना ही सम विषम संज्ञा है. Increase or decrease in the precise distance of orbital particles in an atom is referred to as generation or degeneration. Generation कहें या generative कहें. सम विषम को यहाँ पर हम नाउन की तरह से यूज कर रहे हैं, तो आई एम ओके विद जनरेटिव एंड डिजेनरेटिव. यह सदा सदा नाभिकीय बल और शक्ति, नाभिकीय अगेन इज दैट सेंट्रल और न्यूक्लियस, सदा सदा नाभिकीय बल और शक्ति के प्रयोग विधि से संतुलित रहना दिखाई पड़ता है, समझ में आता है. इट इज सीन और अंडरस्टूड that it always remains in equilibrium by the application of the strength and force power of the nucleus. Okay. सदा सदा नाभिकीय बल और शक्ति के प्रयोग विधि से संतुलित रहना दिखाई पड़ता है, समझ में आता है. इट इज सीन और अंडरस्टूड दैट इट ऑलवेज रिमेन्स इन इक्विलिब्रियम बाय द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ द strength and power of the nucleus. One change I have tried here in this paragraph, आप भी keep thinking about it and give feedback also. We have a key phrase, नियम नियंत्रण संतुलन. Okay, नियम नियंत्रण संतुलन को जब हम when we translate it to English, we are saying law, regulation, balance. So that is why नियम नियंत्रण, तो यहाँ पर नियंत्रण आया है तो लॉ रेगुलेशन बैलेंस, तो रेगुलेशन बनता है, तो वी हैव टेकन रेगुलेशन ऑफ जीवन. बट अब यहाँ पर जब संतुलन आ रहा है, सो वन ऑप्शन इज टू स्टिक टू बैलेंस. नियम नियंत्रण संतुलन में लॉ रेगुलेशन बैलेंस. बट I have been thinking this equilibrium word is a very good word in English, and we have not sort of, placed it anywhere so far. I was thinking that in this paragraph, maybe equilibrium sounds better than balance. Please give your feedback also. How does it sound? Well, one option is we can say balance here. So it is seen or understood that it always remains in equilibrium or it remains in balance by the application of the strength and power of the nucleus. यह संतुलन परमाणु गठन रूपी इकाई पर होने वाला प्रभाव है. This equilibrium or this balance is the effect of the entity which is constituted as an atom. यही मध्यस्थ क्रिया, मध्यस्थ बल और मध्यस्थ शक्ति का परिचय और प्रमाण है. This is indeed the first clue to and evidence of the mediative activity, mediative strength and mediative power. क्योंकि हर परमाणु संतुलित होने की स्थिति में ही स्वभाव गति के रूप में वर्तमान होना, फलस्वरूप उपयोगिता पूरकता विधि से परस्परता में विकास, उदात्तीकरण, रासायनिक उर्मी और रचना विरचनाएं स्पष्ट हुई. तो यहाँ पर भी एक क्योंकि वाला वर्ड समझ में नहीं आया है, सो आई जस्ट इग्नोर्ड दिस क्योंकि. इट इज ओनली इन ए स्टेट ऑफ इक्विलिब्रियम, है ना, परमाणु संतुलित होने की स्थिति में. It is only in a state of equilibrium, or we could say in a state of balance, that every atom is present in its natural motion, स्वभाव गति के लिए natural motion, leading to mutual development, evolution, chemical ripple, तो परस्परता में विकास को mutual development, उदात्तीकरण को evolution, रासायनिक उर्मी को chemical ripple, और रचनाएं विरचनाएं स्पष्ट हुई. एंड कंपोजिशन एंड डिकम्पोजिशंस बाय वे ऑफ यूजफुलनेस एंड कॉम्प्लीमेंटेरीनेस, ऑल दिस बिकेम क्लियर, है ना. दिस बिकेम क्लियर. इट इज ओनली इन ए स्टेट ऑफ इक्विलिब्रियम. हर विरचना भी पूरकता क्रम में होना और पुनर्रचना के लिए पूरक होना देखा गया है. It has been seen that all decompositions are also in the chain of complementariness and are useful for future compositions. Okay, this has been a very revealing sentence for me. Like विरचना जो है वो future पुनर्रचना के लिए complementary रहती है. This has been something which has relaxed me a lot personally. हम रचना विरचना का otherwise in before this in my life I always looked at रचना वाला part जो है that is acceptable to me, and विरचना वाला part, decomposition वाला part, that is not acceptable to me. Okay, suddenly with this sentence, for the continuity of existence, rachna and virachna are mutually complementary. This existence cannot remain continuous if there is always composition, no decomposition. Okay, if there will not be any decomposition, then how will future compositions happen? Okay, it is only the compositions, the formations, the physico-chemical entities which exist today. When they decompose, they become the raw material for future generations, future compositions. If all the trees which are here remained here today, if all the humans who are today, they remained here, then how will the new children be born and then they also remain here? Okay, so if everyone who is born always remains here, then how will the tradition continue? So for continuity of tradition, life and death of the body, they go hand in hand. Okay, this is very revealing to me personally. यह प्राणावस्था में बीज अनुषंगीय विधि से स्पष्ट है. In the plant order, this is obvious in the form of seed conformance. So this I think is just an example कि जैसा we see in agriculture or fruits and everything, like we see formations, we see deformations, we see formations, like we see a crop growing and then its season is over, you have a empty field and then the next season comes. So this cycle continues. So this is an example which Babaji has given. ओके, सो सम और विषम की जो पिछले पैराग्राफ में बात हुई थी उसके बारे में बाबा जी ने इसको और ही हैज इलेबोरेटेड a bit on that. So one is overall, second is how is this balance versus equilibrium? Okay, that also some feedback if you can give. Shilpa Didi.
No, bhaiya, as you mentioned, like this is really beautiful, like how it draws our attention. And I was just thinking of duality also. Like we say, na, when we fall ill, we realize what good health is.
Hmm.
You know, if we haven't, you know, if we break our arm, we know the what the value of the arm is. Like so, like that. So, like as you said, you know, the degeneration, how to accept that and to see that as a continuous process and the
Hmm.
value of it. So, like, you know, in the physical terms, we can see it, but in terms of duality, like good and evil, also, I'm trying to think, you know, how it is. Like, how do we appreciate one thing when the other is, I don't know, like, I'm just thinking. But then when we
No, I think that
ultimately,
is little separate narrative, good and evil.
yeah.
So when we understand the madhyast
Mm.
wala Jivan Jagriti, awakening of Jivan, then evil will not be there. So this is one thing in the physico-chemical world. You have this generation and degeneration going hand in hand. Okay, but when we understand Jivan, then what we realize is that in Jivan, everything which is Visham or degenerative happens only under delusion. Okay, so in the awakened tradition, evil will disappear by itself. In the physical chemical world, the
Yeah.
degenerative will never disappear. If it disappears,
Mm.
then the existence will stop. Okay, but in
Absolutely,
the
yes.
in the consciousness aspect, the degenerative will disappear. That is what Madhyas Darshan is saying. Spencer, this gets communicated well.
No, yes. So yeah, it gets communicated. And as for um, balance and equilibrium, I think equilibrium is a good word. It
Yeah.
sounds nice to me. And when I think about it, when I try and make a distinction, actually, it's kind of the meaning is the same in my
Yes.
mind, in English. On one equilibrium, you have two things which are becoming equal, and that's what balance is, or equilibrium if you have heat and
Yes.
cold, and the heat will rush to the cold, or the cold will, try to maintain the balance of temperatures. So balance, I think equilibrium is a good word, and that's what Madhyast is doing essentially is ensuring that it's not too much sam or visham, that it's just maintaining its natural state. So it's
Hmm.
in equilibrium. I like it.
Okay. Devbhai, anything?
But yeah, whatever you know, however you have rather translated is conveying the meaning. Uh, I have like different struggle as of now. I have a lot of questions. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
will need to think about those.
Yes.
I'm actually confused. If I say if I talk about this particular para that we read, so one, I'm not sure if I understand the definition of equilibrium with the present, the available content.
Hmm.
If it means what is equilibrium, like what is like in natural form, because
Hmm.
it somewhere it says also this equilibrium is the effect of on the entity which is constituted as an atom, which is like however it is now
Hmm.
is equilibrium. So if that is the case, then why are we saying that it is only in the state of equilibrium that every atom is present in its natural motion, etc.? uh, because if what is equilibrium, then it's equilibrium all the time. How come it can be something else or something other than equilibrium? So I mean I may not be able to maybe present
Hmm.
clearly as the questions as well, but then
Yeah, I think it needs more reflection also, and maybe
yes.
more discussions and more reading. But the way I look at it is that in the physico-chemical world, uh, like change is there. That is the law of existence, I think. Okay, like in atoms also we are seeing activity happening. Okay, and we see otherwise also like clouds are getting formed and rain is there and trees are growing and like there is the animal world and there is the knowledge order also and there are so many species. Okay, so all this is happening. So 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 this is happening because of atoms getting together and getting separated. Okay. So all this is at the root of it is atomic activity. Although in a gross manner, at एक स्थूल रूप में हमको बड़े रूप में ये दिखता है that someone has died or some house has fallen or some tree has fallen, but at the root of all this is atomic activity,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So 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 I think this is something which we need to think more about it.
जी भैया.
Okay, so if there was no change happening, then at the gross level also we will not see any change. Then this existence will be very static. Okay. But existence is, so to say, dynamic, and there are changes that we see. So at the root of every change is atom. So Babaji is linking, is drawing that attention, I think. तो हमें atom में भी सम विषम समझ में आता है, and then at a bigger level also, at the level of 4 orders also, we are able to see sum and vision. This is something which gradually, I think, अपने में clear होगा.
जी भैया. I'll think.
Good. So time is over. Any comments, any closing remarks? Otherwise, we'll close the session.
Devi, can you just say your question one more time?
Okay. So, Spencer, I'm kind of stuck with what I mentioned earlier with that excess word, and I'm using the same thought here in this para as well. On one hand, we are saying that uh, however the atom is, there is an effect of the. There is one line over here. Can you, if you, yeah. Equilibrium is the effect on the entity which is constituted as an atom. So this line is something like whatever is, so atom is already there, like it's in existence, and equilibrium is also defined basis that. So far, am I good so far?
So
Equilibrium,
you're
so atom is already in existence, and equilibrium is defined basis that atom which is already there, which already exists. And if we move on, there is a line. It is only this equilibrium. So uh, so how come uh, we are talking about it is only when this equilibrium happens? Can it be a case that when there is no such equilibrium, or can it be a case when there is no equilibrium? So basically, on one hand, we are saying that equilibrium is something which is natural, which is like as per the current situation, as per the current existence of the atom. On the other hand, we are saying that equilibrium happens only when, or there could be a different situation as well. I don't know if I was able to convey.
you're saying it sounds like in some states there's no equilibrium, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's what this line. It is only in a state of equilibrium. If you look at this line, it is only in a state of equilibrium that every atom is present in its natural motion. Then what is
I
not a state of equilibrium?
Yeah, it is only in, where does it say that?
Here.
It is only in a state of equilibrium that every atom is present.
So the word equilibrium is defined basis the atom, and then we are saying it is only in a state of equilibrium that every atom is present in its natural motion, etc. I mean, again, to me, so it's been a little contradictory.
Yeah, I have a
Let's think.
different.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, of course, we have.
Spencer, please go ahead, Spencer.
No, I just have a different translation. As we go along here, it helps me to just put it into ChatGPT, and I get a more complete picture of the translation sometimes. And it says that for the same line, it says, since every atom exists in a balanced state, it is present as a form of natural motion. And so I think that maybe it's misleading the translation when it says it is only in a state of equilibrium because then it implies that there's a state of not
Yes.
equilibrium.
So what you mentioned, looking through Chat GPT, that's what I think it should be.
Hmm. 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 Yes, I also like that. I also like that when I heard. Yeah.
The
What was
difference
that?
is, since every atom exists in a balanced state. And then comma. And then it says, it is present as a form of natural motion. Or it is present in its natural motion. That makes sense.
Hmm. 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 This is better. This is better. Certainly better.
Then because when it says previously in the previous translation, when it said
Only in a state of.
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's a little bit misleading, I
Hmm.
think.
Yeah. As I said that, I was not able to understand this word of the meaning of this word kyunki, so I ignored it. But now I can see its significance. क्योंकि ये इसमें since क्योंकि since
Mm-hmm.
good, very
Could be,
nice.
or it could be because. We'll leave it at since, but I'm just saying because
Yes,
isn't
yes,
the same.
yes. It is in that sense only. Yes. अभी ठीक लग रहा है देव भाई?
जी भैया.
हाँ, very good, very good. Bring out your doubts, like it enriches all of us.
Yeah, it's good. It's questions that we all have, or maybe we have not,
Yes,
it has
yes,
not even come to us yet. So it's good
yes,
to figure out all these things.
Actually,
right.
I started to think as that. Am I questioning like too much?
No, no,
No,
no, no, not at all. It's very helpful. These discussions are very enriching, actually.
without questions, then what? It's like we've already assumed, then we've already got it, which I don't think is true. So the questions should be there.
Good, very good. Okay, so we close today's session at this point, and okay, I think it will continue in the next session also. ये सारा भी भौतिक रासायनिक संसार रचना विरचना ये सब जो है ये चल रहा है, and it is probably Babaji will take us into deeper content as we proceed further.
That's good.
All right.
Good. Great. Thank you very much. Let's close this session today, and we meet again on next Sunday, same time.
All right.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Namaste.